to the space where the truth gets spoken. Trap snares popping, hands up, energy open. Where the chains get broken and the culture stays golden. We move with grit, say grit. We rise with grace, say grits. We push for progress. Progress. No justice, no sleep. Snare snapping, keep that bounce alive. Unapologetic, black, unfiltered, unshaken. We the future in motion, history in the making. Let's go! Every step, every voice, every beat that we speak. We the rhythm of the people rising week after week. From the block to the ballot, the mic to the streets. We bring fire to the system till the mission's complete. Turn it up, let it hit, let it rise in your chest. This is power, this is purpose, yo, we won't rest. So lean in, tune up, let your spirit digest. This is grit, grace, and progress. Yeah, feel that, hold that, let it settle in your soul. Grace, power in the place. Grace and progress, say it. Grace, power in the place. Grace and progress, say it. Grace and progress, say it. Grace and progress.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Great Grace and Progress. Up? Man,
hey,
got these beautiful people on my screen right here for the world to see.
Hey.
Got Greg Battle in Cleveland. You got Bria
Peace.
up there in St. Louis, and she turned the camera off. We got EB in Cleveland. We got Lawrence sitting in his car. He could be anywhere from St. Louis to Texas. I don't know where yet. And
that's right.
And I want to just give a shout out to my man Lawrence. He had a great and wonderful celebration for his wife this past weekend. It was a pleasure of being an invited guest, me and my wife. But man, y'all did it on that thing, man. I was like, wow, that's black excellence for you right there. So
it was.
So starting off with you right quick, Lawrence. It's been a minute since you've been on. Can you tell us a little bit about this little event that you had and, what was behind it?
So my wife just recently turned 40. Her birthday is actually in February. But you know how the weather is in Texas. It's real ghetto in February. We don't know if we're going to get an ice storm, a blizzard. It's going to be 75 degrees outside. You just never know. So to avoid that catastrophe, we decided to have her celebration in April, where the only thing we got to worry about is maybe some rain and maybe a tornado. Who knows? So the whole concept was her idea, which was like Black excellence, Harlem Renaissance, giving like speakeasy vibes, just kind of like, just a real, just Black, environment. And so we had everybody was supposed to dress. So she's closing out her 30s, going into her 40s. So it's like 1930s, 1940s, type of attire and decoration and stuff like that. So she had it all laid out. We had a live band to kick the night off. We had casino tables throughout the venue where you can play, dice games, poker, roulette, all of it. So we gave out like money and they gave out tokens, not real money, fake money. Gave out tokens and people could play the games with the dealers and stuff like that. The hors d'oeuvres and the food was just, we had greens. Yeah, Black event unless there's some greens on the table. So, it was really nice, man. She really enjoyed it. This has been, we have been planning this and coming up with this concept, and I helped out with a few things, making these banners, and I found the venue for her and all that stuff, and that venue tied in perfectly with the whole look that we were going with. We didn't have to really touch the venue at all. They gave us everything that we needed and then some. But about 150 people showed out and showed up. It was crazy. Had an open bar. Everybody had a good time. I had a top hat on with my tucks with the tails and stuff, looking like Black Monopoly.
He did.
But yeah, it was. And when y'all see the videos, because the videographer has already sent us 2 little snippet videos. When I see this woman, like it looks like an old Hollywood reel. Like the effect she put on it, like she killed it with the music background. I posted it earlier. I didn't post the other one, but she's still working on the videos and getting us all the pictures. But when we start posting all that stuff, people that did not come or couldn't make it, they already have started kicking themselves, seeing videos and pictures that other people posted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an amazing night. We got our eyes to thinking because we like entertaining and getting people that we love together. So it may be like a Davis party once a year, and we just go big. You never know when it's gonna be. It could be summer, spring, winter, or fall. Like, hey, if you know it's a Davis party, you know it's gonna be an experience. So it may be something that we just do just to show love back to our friends and family.
Yeah, it was good, man. And they did give out gifts, though, if you turned in so many tickets for, your tokens from gambling. And so I did want to say they did give back to the guests that came through. And I did win my chicken and pickle, my little chicken and pickle gift card. So I want to say thank you. Yep. But we get into the real talk here. So I don't know if anybody saw that post I put on social media. I was saying how I'm not saying what happened Saturday with the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was staged or not. And that wasn't even the point of my post. But my concern was we are losing we are questioning now what is real and what is not. And it kind of it concerns me because you can now be in person, present at a situation, and your reality is now questioned. Was this real or not? Now what you experienced was real, but was the actual incident real? And so anyway, that concerned me because we've seen this over the years where something will go down and you find out that it wasn't really real, it was a fake, but it was people there. This is becoming different now because it's becoming political, and you're looking at where people can take things to the next level because something they saw that was fake and they want to copycat that. And so those are my concerns I had with it. So I want to just give this little intro right here where I say, we talk about how the chaos in D.C. over the weekend, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a room full of the most powerful people in the world, was breached. A suspect named Cole Thomas Allen has been charged today with the attempt of assassination of the president. But if you look at your feed, you wouldn't know it. Thousands of influencers are calling it a psyop or a hoax to push the new White House ballroom. We are living in a moment where the bullet is real, but the truth is whatever gets the most clicks. So with my four intelligent, wise, black, excellent people here, y'all, Greg, give me your thoughts, man. I know you're gonna give me something deep. What you got, man? I just want a brief understanding with all four of you of the question I just asked about questioning. Then we'll get into it. Stage versus.
The first thing that came across my mind was here's a third staged attempt at something that they're going to try to spin into. They're trying to kill Donald J. Trump.
Okay.
Now, he wasn't even on the floor where it was happening.
Yeah.
He's in a place with the whole line of succession for our government is all in the same place.
Right.
At a party that he never wanted to go to because he don't have no sense of humor. But why was he there?
Yeah.
And why was he not the first one escorted out the room?
Right.
Why did J.D. Vance get the first call out of the room?
So you're going too deep right now, man.
No, I'm talking about the reality. If you trying to save the president, and I remember George Bush coming to town, and my aunt getting an award from them, and all the Secret Service and the hoops they had to go to, and who could go and who could not go. This dude running through the lobby.
Well, what was the first
floor above?
What was your first? You said your first thought was through. This is the third stage of of an event.
This is the third stage because I didn't believe any of the other two.
What put you in the mindset of not believing the first three?
Because they killed investigations. You still haven't found out who was killed in the first one. What you haven't heard from their family. The news hasn't covered it because there was nothing to cover.
Okay.
Same thing for the second one.
Got you. What about you, Bray? What you think, man? For your the question of stage versus hoax, what was your first thought when you saw it?
Initially, yeah, I thought it was staged. I think, no, I mean, I still think, not initially, I currently think it's staged. But it's, it comes, what it comes down to is, so my first thought was, yeah, it's staged. I didn't think that it was a real attempt. I think that we've seen this before, and it's it's very hard to believe that you would have the entire cabinet. I actually don't know if it's the entire cabinet at the dinner, a dinner that Trump has never attended, um, in one of the most secure cities in pretty much in the world.
So that made you think it was staged?
Yes, it did. Because how did he get past Secret Service?
Got you.
How did he get past all, I mean, you saw the law enforcement flood that room. How did he get past all of them?
Okay.
Um,
I want to go into the details of it, but I just want to really just. I just really because I'm doing this for a reason. Of the questioning part and why you believe what you believe. EB, what about you?
I had to check myself a couple times, but so the definition of gaslighting, to my understanding, is to make people question a person's reality, right? To me, as long as I can get everybody in the room to question everything, then when the truth comes out, nobody's gonna believe it anyway.
Got you.
So I just think this is actually an overall plan. I don't know if I'm ready to go in and say conspiracy yet, even though I'm very, very tempted based on some things that y'all seen and I saw. But I think that there is a lack of respect for the truth on purpose so that we doubt everything. So now by the time the real journalism come out and the real truth come out, they were all in this, well, that's probably not true. It's probably a hoax anyway, whether the truth be, for instance, Trump stealing money or whether he's not stealing money. Right. They don't want us to believe it. They want us to rely on them for our reality. And I think that that's been happening anyway, even with the people that say they don't agree with them. Mm-hmm. I think, and ultimately people say they blow off that he's going to bomb somebody because, the nickname is Taco, that he just doesn't do it anyway. But after a while, he's going to eventually do that. And now he's crying wolf. So I don't know what's true anymore.
Right. That's okay. Lawrence, what about you, man? What was your first thoughts and the hoax versus reality perspective?
So I'm not gonna go too deep, and we can circle back with more of what I have to say. But I think every time these things happen, and not just attempts on his life, but some of the other things that happen, I always go back to how we got here, and we got here all the way back with Sandy Hook. And some of the people saying it was fake, and all that type of nonsense that was being pushed on the right about, Antifa and like all the things that were kind of created back during that time and leading up until now. And now what's not really helping the situation is that we have an AI to tip our fingers, where I can make Lamar look like he just punched Obama in the face. Like, it's so, we're in such a weird time where I want to believe that all three of these were real, but just like, most people are thinking, like, I can't find no information on this person. Mm-hmm. Like, the first one, I think he was shot dead, so that was very convenient. The other one, he was caught before anything happened, and then it was like, so what's up with that case? even the whole, not to go off on a tangent, but even Charlie Kirk's thing is too quiet right now to find out what's happening with that guy.
Okay.
You know, so it's just like, you know, it's so much, and it all goes back to Sandy Hook and a bunch of other things that happened between then and now, where this separation from reality is so far from our everyday lives that you almost want to say everything's fake. But then for me, I just want to think everything's real until I find otherwise.
You and EB was in one direction of it could be, but I don't want to say it yet. Greg and Bria said staged because of past experiences and what hasn't been revealed yet. I have been more so with EB and Lawrence, but it's like my outward words, I don't want to say it out loud. My inward body is saying it was staged, but I don't want to. And the only reason why I've been stuck like this is because I want to be able to say a person wouldn't actually do that, stage their own assassinations, or I saw that look, Bree, and what I'm saying is I'm trying to think from a humane standpoint that I know a person could be crooked. I know people can go far lengths to do some really wild things, but could it be that bad that you would stage your own assassination? And I didn't want to say it until I knew it was real. I have all these stories out there why it could be. I've been posting on it, but then I had to sit back for a minute and say, let me hear some more. And we may never get the truth. That's the crazy part. Because like Lauren said about the AI part, you could do so much. Did you guys notice, why was that good dude nude? He had a aluminum blanket over him, over his bottom half when he was laying on the floor. Then when they did the mug shot, he had a blanket downward. That's one thing. Then you notice that his body in the mug shot from the neck down looked white and his face looked brown.
You know,
I mean, and he's from California. He's in the sun. Come on, man.
So
and he's conveniently a person of color from California. It's so many things that makes you want to be like, because first of all, any black man, brown man that shoots an officer, runs through I don't know how many guns and ARs he ran past with a gun, actually gets a shot off, and he lives. Like, people get pulled over for expired tags and die. You know, I'm just like, there's no way a black man shoots a white officer or FBI agent or whatever, lives to tell about it. It makes zero sense. So I understand people be like, okay. And he's from California. Like it's just, it's too many things that make you want to say, this is stupid. This don't make no sense.
Did you guys hear the news? Fox was reporting, and they had one of the reporters that was there at the event, and she was sitting next to Caroline Levitt's husband. And she was telling her experience, like, you know, I was sitting there, and Caroline Levitt's husband said, you need to be careful. And there are some people that are, and then they cut the feed. They cut the feed before she could finish what she was saying. And then she said, then they said, well, this is something that happens when everyone's trying to use the same cell service at the same time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Well, as a former radio person, I can tell you there's a 3-second delay for those reasons. Yeah. 3 second delay they call it a dump button. So if somebody's gonna say something that shouldn't be heard, you can get rid of that before they can come out. And sometimes it's 3 to 5 seconds. So that don't surprise me. When I saw that too, I said, oh my God, did somebody use a dump button or what?
Yeah.
They sure dumped her. They ended that really quick, expeditiously, as T.I. would say.
Now, I know Greg heard this, and I heard it today too. This is the first I heard this, that guy, Cole, what is his name? Cole Thomas Allen or something like that? he may know Usha Vance.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear about
Yeah,
that?
they were in some seminar together.
Yep. He
Yeah.
may know he may know Vance.
Nobody
There
heard.
was
Y'all don't understand.
They had a display, and he was at this display talking about something with a wheelchair, and she was at the same event speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And again, even when I saw that video, I was like, "Is this AI? I don't know. I don't know these news people. Like, it's just like these are faces and names I don't even know. Like the news people reporting, it's not in my state, so I don't know if it's a real person or not. So again, it's just
These
like
people
I
want
saw it and
you too tired to care.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what? The truth comes in its original dressing.
But here's the big thing,
Anything
though.
that's been spun,
Yeah.
Here's the
it's gotta
thing,
be a
though.
lie.
The president records, up until this president, those archives are set to be handled a certain way after a president leaves. There is a rule now being changed that he doesn't have to give up those to the archives. So think about that. So there's things we'll never get answers to. There's some people that allowed him to go this far, and it could have been stopped. I don't care what they say; they could stop it, but they don't allow those records to get high. So all the stuff we're talking about now is one of the reasons why I think it's continue to happen, because we are all sitting there doubting even the things that we doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's making us sound like we're the ones that's crazy when it really is not us, it's them.
Well,
We also have to be careful when saying that something is a hoax or something is staged. That was my initial, so my initial thought about it was it's staged, but coming out and saying that it's staged, again, I was hesitant to do it because we know that this is a different kind of administration. We know that these are actors. We know that these are not, this is kind of a farce of a presidency for the second time in a row. Now, the issue is when we start saying things are staged or that the election was rigged or things like that, we're going to run it. We're setting a precedent for something, for this to happen again, where if something is really going on, when if there's really an attempt, if there's really an assassination attempt with a different president, if there's really a fake election, like a lot of people think the 24 election was rigged, but we couldn't say that because we already debunked the 2020 election, you know. So it sets a precedent for not necessarily, it's next time then there's actually something going on, we're not going to be able to say that it's real, because the right's going to come out and say, oh, well, remember when you said Donald Trump's attempted assassination was a hoax, was staged? Is this staged? Are you pulling the same, thing that you're saying that we did? And it's a circle, it's a cycle that's going to go on and on and on.
Right.
And we've seen this happen before. This is not new, but I do think that they're raising the stakes. I think that they're taking a lot of the same things that they did in the last presidency and they are amplifying it by 10.
Right.
And they're really at this point trying to see what can they get away with, in my opinion.
That's
Okay.
it.
But it's hard to say something is staged and really go full in on this is a staged attempt without it blowing back in our faces in the future.
So-
if there is something that really.
So you're speaking about
Show me the money.
So you're speaking about point
And
2.
Lamar,
Yes. Yes.
and I was gonna say, and Lamar, you said something earlier about, if, why would anybody stage their own assassination and all that stuff? And it's like, if we go back to when we was in our 30s and 20s, would we even consider that the United States of America would have a bootleg dictator as a president that not only did the majority supposedly selected once but twice, and if we're not careful, a third time. And so if
It won't be no
all
third
these-
time.
yeah, well, I no longer say what won't happen,
If
because
they're going to
everything that I
allow a
would
third
say,
time, Obama's going to step up.
I'm with him.
Obama can't do nothing for us. He can't
Nah,
do nothing for us.
He can't. Not right
These
now.
people
He
have
can
full
keep-
control.
He can keep that orange
See, the thing about it, that's not the problem.
bozo out of that office.
See, that's
We
not the
also
problem.
understand,
See,
too.
that's not the problem. Trump isn't the problem. Trump isn't the
Yeah,
problem.
he's not the problem. He's the puppet.
He's the voice. He's the voice that is being utilized to galvanize this division. And his voice is what so many people have been wanting to say, but weren't able to say
There
it.
it is.
So when you
There it is.
when you look back at donors, who's funding this, those names are the ones that people are not putting in the forefront. You know, Peter Thiel, that's one. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at where the money is. I think it's David Sachs is one. Elon's money was in there too. You got so many people that have money wrapped up into this for their own best interests. You know, you can still look at foreign adversaries as well, because you know you got Jared Kushner. He doing this dance over in the Israel and the Middle East all over. There's a lot of stuff here where you need a person like Trump to be your headpiece, to be the mouthpiece rather for what's happening. But what Bria was saying about the credibility case of everything, there is a danger to that. You know, where the community, you think about what's going on, every time this happens, the community is more dismissive. When you look at a community being dismissive, that's when things get swept under the rug and other things cover up as distractions.
Those shootings is a typical example of that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't hit all the news stations now like it used to. It was like Stop America.
Yeah.
Now we're all desensitized. It's like, okay, yeah, another shooting, but nobody's gonna do anything about it. We forget about the humans behind that. And for me, it's the reason why I don't want to dismiss anything like this, because there were people afraid. There were people that were legitimately afraid. People that were there just to see this, this event, and you got to wonder what their families was thinking when this was happening, and what was happening on the phone. So when they hear people like us get on there or whoever and make a comment about being a hoax, I'm sure what they felt on the other side of that phone wasn't a hoax. I'm sure they felt that pain. And I just can't even imagine what that would feel like if somebody called me and told me there were gunshots going off in the event they were at.
Yeah, I heard, I don't know, Greg, I know you listen to Urban View a lot. I'm not sure who else listened to Urban View. But did you all hear the interview with April Ryan this morning?
No,
Have you all caught that?
Mm-hmm.
April Ryan was there. She's been to 30 of these. She's been to 30 of these correspondence dinners over 5 presidents, administrations. She said a couple of things that stood out that really kind of, made me think hoax, staged. The one thing she said was that typically the elevators are shut off during these events. The elevators weren't shut off. Like even during the time they were there, usually you got to use your key card for your room to go to your floor for these type of events. That keeps people that's not supposed to be there. Because remember, this shooter was a guest at the hotel.
He was on the second floor too. Yeah, he was a floor above him. I mean.
So then you have the other thing was that security is typically so tight, like you all were mentioning earlier, that he shouldn't be able to get as close as he did in general. And the other thing she said that was really amazing was that she said that when they release people to the streets, typically that doesn't happen that fast, because you can go into the streets and get ambushed because you don't know who else may have been part of that. So you had this press conference immediately after this incident, before there was a proper investigation or he really had all the details. Now, they had this dude's name, address, everything, which basically came from his ID because he was a guest at the hotel. But they had all this information. The louder.
I'm sorry.
Who was that? Shoot.
My wife is a baseball fan.
Oh, did I say something wrong? I'm like, whose ancestor was that popped up?
That's right.
So that's when I heard April Ryan start telling these things, and I'm listening to someone who's been to multiple events like this, and what the protocol typically is. She said the security is so tight that you just can't maneuver freely like that. Even the people that are guests there, you got so many checkpoints, and I've seen different security setups like that. Like even when Obama was in Cleveland for his for his thing down there. We was able to see all that. I worked for companies where CEOs have protection like that, where I've seen the snipers on the rooftops, and where you have the streets blocked off just for a CEO of a company. This is the president of the United States, and you have that lack of security. So you had lacks of security at this event. There was a lack of security to have that guy with the gun at Mar-a-Lago that was going to try to assassinate him. And then you have the lack of security with that guy on the rooftop in Pennsylvania that they knew was on the rooftop in Pennsylvania. So what's going on with the lack of security with this administration is a concern. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and that's what we should be looking
easy.
at. Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
easy.
Go ahead, Greg.
They fired all of anybody that had any knowledge, skills, and ability in that area. They did it in the military, got rid of all them generals.
Mm-hmm.
They did that in the FBI. They got rid of all those senior people that were doing things. They did that in the Department of Justice. We got rid of all the intelligent people who knew how to run the business and do the business day one.
Yeah.
So what you got now?
Right.
You got a bunch of people that don't know.
So even right now, the United States, our government thwarts so many domestic attacks, like daily. They know where these people are. They know what they're doing. Even if the Trump administration looks like imbeciles, they look like they're dumb and whatever, the people on the back end are still doing what they're supposed to do. And so that's why it's really hard for me to believe that one of the most secure cities in the world, where there's surveillance everywhere, DC is very highly surveilled. So I feel like they know exactly when these things are happening. There's not, I think, I know for a fact. So when I say it's staged, or when I say I think it's staged, I'm not saying that they hired someone to do it. I feel like they knew this person was already planning an attack, and they made it possible for it to happen. And I do think, and like, I know we're about to go down a rabbit hole, like, I'm sorry for being a conspiracy theorist, but I don't feel like there's conspiracy theories with this administration. I think that what they're doing is pretty plain, open in sight. Like, it's not like you have to do too much guessing or too much digging around, because it's right there on the forefront. He's been trying to get this ballroom built, and it's been blocked. What other way to make the case than this right here?
And the people are going to cave. They're going to cave.
And he did say it on the podium. I didn't want to say this, but we already knew he was going to plug the ballroom. Like, we already knew it.
Yeah.
This is not a conspiracy theory. This is just, I mean, anyone with a brain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not like the moon landing where people can think it happened and didn't happen. This is just connecting the dots. We're not moving pieces around. We're not hiding things under this. It's literally plain sight.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say it was a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is literally connecting the dots. And
okay.
There's one common denominator that we're looking at. I agree with her. I believe, again, like I said earlier, that if we keep doubting enough, the truth things will hide because we'll just dismiss them, right? But I think there's something that is common in all these incidents: incompetence and Trump.
Okay.
Those two things have been consistent, right?
Okay.
In the Butler incident, there's a typical protocol where the Secret Service gets radio with the police officers. Well, guess what? They did not pick up the radios on the day of the speech. So when they saw the shooting, they couldn't call it out. That's incompetence. The CIA in a car crash in Mexico, incompetence, right? What happened at the ballroom, incompetence. All right, so there's been 18, since 2016, there's been 18 attempted assassinations of Donald Trump. Think about that, 18 that we know about. 18, not to mention the ones that Bree's kind of alluding to, right? The things that they do every day. 18 attempts on this man's life. To me, it's got a lot more to do with just him and his incompetence. And it kind of furthers Greg's point. If you get rid of all these people that know more than you, then you can dictate what you don't know to everybody else.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And if they follow the order, they just follow the order.
The other thing I don't think they're considering is the failure of the Secret Service and the failure of Trump's, really his whole administration afterward. He is a stickler for his reputation, and he's very narcissistic. So after this administration, after, if there's an after, you're gonna have to grapple with the fact that your Secret Service sucked. Your security sucked. And this is not something that's going to be forgotten. This is going to go in the history books.
Yeah.
That's a lot of attempts on your life, and that is a lot of
you're
close
just
calls.
a mean, hateful person.
Right.
I don't
But
know
some
why
of-
you even think that you can talk like that.
Well, some of the attempts I think are real, and some of them we can pinpoint as fake.
Well, going to what Greg is saying, I want to toss this to you, Greg. I want to get you on the other side of this.
He also wrote this: I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person, you shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
And he also wrote this: I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that.
Even if people try to hide how incompetent he is as a person, his administration is going to take more heat, unfortunately, than him about how incompetent the Department of Justice was, and the FBI and the CIA. Because in every area, from air traffic control to CIA, there's been a sign of incompetence in every branch, in every part of his administration. And that's sad, because they have to live with that even long after the president's gone.
Right. I've never seen him face to face with a male, a male, and had that type of disrespect. And he has never done it to a black male in his face, as a reporter or anybody. And it shows you that, if you think about even
because
with Obama.
he don't have male reporters interview him.
And well, yeah, because of that,
No,
But
he's
he
done a
also,
few.
if you think about the nicknames he's giving people, he didn't have a nickname for Obama. He didn't. He didn't.
He hated too.
He didn't. So,
Obama.
but we're gonna move on a little bit because we can
hated
go on with this
Obama.
forever. But the thing about this whole story that, like I said from the beginning of hoax, I mean a stage event versus reality, that's something that we can see as a that could be setting a dangerous precedent if this is what this administration has been doing. We don't know for sure, and as time goes on, like you said, with AI and everything, that technology is getting more advanced. That you don't know what that reality may look like right there in your own room that you're in, whatever space you're in at that time. But I want to move it along a little bit to something else that caught my attention this past week rather, and I want to just toss it to you guys about this one. If I bring it up right.
Glad you made it home safe, Lawrence.
Appreciate it.
Good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
The black race. But only on their terms when they decide.
So I'm think I'm taking some hit for this. I don't doubt what they're saying. But here's the problem that I have. That's selective prosecution. 20 years ago, right down the street from my family's business, the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Agency in Cleveland paid drug dealers to sell drugs just so they could bust the whole Morris Black drug agency up. In fact, it was implicated. Don King was involved, all this stuff, right? So what he's saying has been going on forever.
Yeah.
Paying informants to perpetuate crime so that they could infiltrate. That's nothing new. But I think this is sticking out more, and if I have any disagreement at all, is because of the work they've done for civil rights. And to me, they're trying to send a message to anyone that challenges the administration in civil rights, which they were ready to do. They're going to become an enemy of. But what they're probably accused to, and from what I looked, this case happened in 2013. Every agency on both sides does some of the same work, which is why it is so weird.
Well, I'm going to give a little context to it, because for those that don't know what's going on, we're looking at, the group of people who claim to be on our side, right? The Southern Poverty Law Center. It's an institution built on monitoring hate. It is now facing an 11-count federal indictment. The DOJ alleges that they funneled $3 million in donor funds to extremist informants. The watchdog is accused of feeding the very wolves they were supposed to be watching. This is the ultimate test of grace. How do we react when the organization meant to fight for us are accused of profiting from the hate? Now, I don't know if who all know why the Department of Justice was created. Do you all know?
No.
The Department of Justice was created for civil rights. It was protected for those slaves that was still down in the Confederate States, where you start bringing down the federal troops to protect them. The DOJ was supposed to be for the people, to serve justice, for those that was going against hate, mainly from the KKK at that time. So when you look at mission creep versus fraud, that's a weird way of saying it, but is this legitimate infiltration to stop violence, or is it a business model built on keeping extremists alive and keeping the donations flowing? Does this organization actually do what it's supposed to do, or you think that it's creating the hype to bring out the attention of hatred, but not really creating things to stop the hate? Pushing policy or whatnot. What do you all think about that?
I think it's really important to remember that no matter what good intentions a government entity has in the United States, it is always going to be infected with systemic racism, systemic oppression, because that is the very fiber. It's in the very foundation of the country. Any type of government entity that is created to help the disenfranchised is going to always be infected with it. We've seen it with every single program. We see it with food stamps. We see it with any type of government assistance. Disenfranchised people in this country are going to always be negatively impacted by it. So, yeah, I think that's something that we have to consider and we have to fully analyze when we talk about stuff like this.
Well, the DOJ, United States Department of Justice, was created by Congress July 22nd, 1870, and officially established on July 1st, 1870, to manage the growing legal work of the federal government post-Civil War, led by the Attorney General. It was established via the Act to establish the Department of Justice, consolidating the legal functions and forming the world's largest law office. So I didn't know the exact date, but I knew it was right after the Civil War when I mentioned that, protecting former slaves. And so this is what...
Right on.
Huh?
I think she's right on.
Mm-hmm.
Poverty makes money.
Yeah.
Poverty makes money. And organizations allow just my opinion, organizations allow certain things to happen so they can keep them funds rolling in.
Right.
It makes money. They can apply for benefits. And because there's less likely for people to watchdog the different disenfranchised, things just happen. So for me, I'm not doubting what they're saying is happening. To the scale they saying is happening, I don't know, but I can tell you that every organization that works within a community that some of us came out of has been part of this, and has to do with how they get funded and how sloppy the funding is and the incompetence of the people they have to bring in just to do the work. Imagine somebody saying, I'm signing up to go in the hood to learn how to infiltrate white supremacists. That's a special person to do that, right? You're not picking some college master's degree graduate to do that. You're going to pick somebody that's actually familiar with that group.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have to also think about what has the Department of Justice done to Black people in this country? What has it done to Black men in this country?
True. Yeah. That's true.
So however it was formed, whatever intentions it was created with, what has it actually done?
Well, I can say this, that a lot of the cases where you saw the violence or the terrorist acts toward African Americans in our country, they may not have won their trial in a suit, but most of their victories were won in a civil suit, which was through the Department of Justice. I mean, you could go back just as recently as Ahmaud Arbery. His case those people were convicted, but they also got more charges through the Department of Justice. You see the case after case where the Department of Justice had to step in and handle the cases for some individuals who have seen acts of hatred. So I'm not going to just say they haven't done anything. I don't know the exact ratio of numbers, but when I look at an organization that was that was put here or created to go ahead and advocate for against hate, and then to see the Department of Justice file a lawsuit against them. We don't know too much about this federal indictment, this 11-count federal indictment. We know it's a $3 million donor funds, but like what's the details on it? We haven't heard anything yet. This may be another one of those cases that gets swept under the rug a little bit. You don't hear no more about it, but it puts a bad light on the Southern Poverty Law Center. So if you think about these Confederate states, you think about the upcoming midterm elections, you think about the attack on people in certain cities because how they vote, mainly these urban cities, Atlanta, Detroit, Philadelphia. Like last time, they tried to say that they were cheating. If the Southern Poverty Law Center, who advocates for people being treated improperly through hatred, now you have a bad mark on their record, or it looks like they're bad. They look bad. That means there is no protection there in that case. That makes sense?
Yep.
There's no protection there. That was a concern of mine when I read this article, was thinking like, what's going to happen 3-4 months? The case is not going to be solved by the midterms, by November. That case is going to be still in litigation. It's going to be still doing whatever they do, before it even get to court. What happens now when you have, are the Southern Poverty Law Center still going to do its job, or are they going to sit back because they're not, because it is this case going on? What happens next? I don't know.
Yep. They're going to sit back and donors are going to pull our money out and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, it's almost like I'm in the Matrix.
Yeah.
It feels like that a lot. Like, I have a couple problems with this whole situation. Like, government, we're not friends. I don't trust them. But the thing is, it's like, this is probably one of the many examples of that whole privilege thing that people hate to hear about. There's no way without privilege and handshakes behind closed doors and stuff like that this stuff happens. Like, you just, these type of donations and this money flow and all these things happen because somebody allowed it to.
That's right.
And it only gets to a point when they want to stop it because it's the wrong type of people. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if it's a Elon Musk or like that type of people, right? They're okay with that type of people, the Trumps, those type of people. They allow to kind of get away because they look at them as harmless, right?
Right.
But they're harmful to us, but harmless to them and their pockets. Where these people, they could cause harm because they could probably do something so radical and so violent in the way that now you done messed around and the NAACP and every other Black organization is looking at you, at the government, like you had to have known this was happening or this was going to happen, because once the records are open and things start, people are starting to ask the right questions, then you got to answer those questions. And so I struggle with, yeah, great, you did a good job, but there's so many other things that you allow to slide and go that harms us in another way.
Yeah.
That I just don't trust you. It's like, if you do me a favor, what are you asking for? What exactly is it that you're gonna take from me? Because you're not doing this for free.
Right.
You're not. So what's next on the agenda? Because I'm just waiting on 2027. What you got for me then? Because I know it's something else.
Something really weird about this, and I'm not sure if you know it. I'm gonna throw this in here. Name this organization again. What the initials stand for? Again, Mars. The one that
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Tell me, why do they have a union? This is what I'm saying. That blows everything out the water.
Mm-hmm.
Why does an organization that does this type of work have a union? Yes, one of the reasons I know that
I didn't know that.
A lawsuit was filed. They just ratified a new contract. Think about what I'm saying. They actually have a union. They represent the labor part of their organization. Mm-hmm. Follow the money. Again,
Yeah.
Poverty makes money. That's what it does. There are organizations all over Cleveland, Ohio, some on every corner, right, that get money, non-tax dollars, to help. It don't take much to see there ain't a lot of help.
Well,
right.
your question is valid. Your question is very valid because again, this is a organization that represent people against hatred, right? Against hateful acts. The SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center staff unionized in 2019 of December to address, check this out, internal issues regarding pay, racial and gender discrimination, and ensure a more democratic workplace, particularly following scandals involving sexual harassment and misconduct allegations against leadership. The union aims to improve working conditions and align the organization's internal practices with its public mission. So, and that's the first time that I didn't even. If you would have brought it up, I never would have looked it up. I didn't know that part of the organization. Wow.
So it brings a different, and it's all about the money. There's something to learn about politics. When I was 19 years old, I was really involved in it, and one of the reasons why I got out of it at 30 was because I found out that everybody around you is wearing a mask, that they're all involved with the money, that even though they argue with each other. I remember working at a certain radio station, and they were cutting anti-Obama commercials during our radio program.
Yeah.
Right. And I one of the producers that was producing one of those programs, I said, why do they do that? He said, he don't really hate Obama. It just is good for the radio station.
Yeah. Money. Yeah.
Just think about that. So it's everything is about money.
Yeah.
And if you follow the money, you figure out, so whether they indict somebody in this organization or not, it won't matter. It's not going to affect us in the neighborhood, but it's still going to do the things we have to do. There are still small organizations, churches and mosques and the neighborhood, any Catholic churches that take care of the poor without a union.
Yeah. Well, you think about go ahead, Bree.
My son is sleeping, y'all. That's why I have my light on over here. I don't want to wake him. But the thing about the churches, EB, is that you're absolutely right. I don't know if you guys followed there was a woman who was doing an experiment, a social experiment, where she called around to all the churches in her area to see if they would be able to donate diapers to her. All the Christian churches said no. All of the Catholic churches said no. But all of the mosques, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
That's the mosque. Yeah.
Okay. They all said yes. I think there were like 3. Were there like 3? Or was it?
I know those places here in Cleveland that does that too, right?
They asked her how much she needed, give them 30 minutes or something like that, and they provided for her. So I want to talk about that a little bit, because when we look at how this administration is propping up Christian churches and Christianity, and also at the same time, what am I trying to say? At the same time, putting down Islam. I don't know what I'm trying to say, y'all.
You're right.
My words aren't working. Okay, I swear. I use.
Can I jump in and help you?
Not working. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that's just insane to me, to think that all the Christian churches that she called, none of them would help, and the one Islamic mosque. Am I saying this right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Helped. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm over here.
So you're looking at that's a sad situation.
That was insane.
You're saying your perception is saying that it's sad that had to go that way for someone seeking help. Correct.
And because this administration is pushing this thought that the only time there are good people is when they're wearing a cross on their chest. And you know why they're saying that is because that's the only group they can manipulate. Sorry. Correct. It's the only group they can manipulate, because in other thoughts, in other places, they won't allow him to speak for them. I mean, look at the Pope by himself alone, right? The Catholic Church alone say, hey, wait, stop. You don't speak for us. We speak for ourselves, right? But the Protestant churches are not going to do that. as a whole, not generally because they're too separated, right? So I think that to Bree's point, and I know this from just my own experiences with them, is I know some of them and I know what they really believe in their soul. I have guys drive across town to give me $50 they owe me, right? Because they don't believe in going to bed owing anybody money. But that's what I'm saying. And so I got pastors I got hunt down to get $23 from them. What I'm saying is that group of people, not just because they're churches, not because they're just Jesus, not because they're Christians, but the administration is holding people like that close to them because they are easy to manipulate at this point. Why? I have no idea. I don't know what's the big pull on that, but that's happening right now.
Do you think it's the lack
And
of prayer?
Okay. Now,
yeah.
Evie, you had asked a question, and I have to jump in. Why do they have a union? They had a union as a means to go against their right to work state because they would not allow unions to exist. So they created their own union in a state that says you can't have a union. So that was a form of resistance. Now, yeah, you're right about following the money, and over time, they've got away from understanding why things happen. History will forget the process because everybody wants to be into what's happening to me right now and not understanding how it come about. So I just wanted to throw that in there as a little history lesson because in the South, most of them have right to work states, which means you can't unionize the labor force.
Got you. And it's a lot like that. This is like Texas is a right to work state as well.
Well, I guess for me, I just why don't we just do the
I'm
right?
not saying that you're wrong, EB.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
no.
Follow the
I
money.
appreciate that. I
But
appreciate that. Yeah.
That's how the ball got started, and then with the as the AFL-CIO became more dominant and prominent across the country, then all of those things changed because it was about the money. You got people that had to pay dues to belong to the union, and in a right to work state, if you had a union, you still had to represent the employees whether you were a member of the union or not. The UAW put a kibosh on a lot of that, and that's probably why my dad, even in his retirement, is still taking care of my mom through the retirement system.
Right. But that was in 2019 that they started this union, and this was after the firing of founder Morris Dees and the leadership and all the rest of the leadership departures, because the employees wanted to address the allegations of discrimination and inequality within the organization.
Think about that. Discrimination, sexual harassment, right?
Yeah.
They laid off something like 23% of the workforce. This is the Southern Poverty Law Center.
So, no, go ahead. I was going to say, so does the DOJ have a case here? Do the DOJ have a case in how they're funding this $3 million to these extremists, these informants, or is it just funneling money, or did they add on the extremist informants? Because you got extremist informants on both sides of the aisle. Yes. And really, if you think about it, there's no such thing as, left, right extremists anymore. They're all over the place. So I'm just gonna keep it as crazy people. People who do extreme things. People who do extreme things, because I don't think politics has anything to do with it anymore. It's just people want to control things, have things their way. It doesn't matter. I mean, I look at the current administration. The things that are happening is for control. So it doesn't matter if Trump was a Democrat or Republican. Whoever was going to feed him the money, he was going to do what they say. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. Power. It's a manufactured power, because he's not even holding the power cards. He's just following through. So, this was a very interesting discussion today about the shootings. Not the shootings, but the what's the word I want to use? the possibility of staged events involving this administration. I don't want to
The alleged.
the alleged staged events. I don't want to put it out there that I believe that. I'm going to just say that I want to hear more information, to get more information, and make me a my own intelligent type of assessment of it, with given the facts that they're willing to give you, because I don't think that we're ever going to get total facts out of any of these incidents with these attempted assassinations. And in regards to the Southern Poverty Law Center, it is very sad that an organization that is there for protecting and looking for equal rights with people were also within their own organization showing their own side of discrimination. So I started off this conversation thinking that I was against the DOJ in this case, that they were something that was not properly right. But I can't say that now, knowing that the history of why they created the union, and the fact that this organization was supposedly to help people, and they're hurting the people that's within their own organization. So I don't know where they're staying now. That was in 2019. So with that being said, I'm gonna give y'all like a round robin right quick. Your last thoughts of what we talked about today, and possibly of how we can look forward, move forward with this. Go ahead, Bree.
Can you actually come back around to me?
Go ahead,
I'm trying to
Lawrence.
get my phone back together. Sorry.
Okay.
I guess for me, it's more of I think we just got to be careful of what we believe and what we don't believe. Use common sense. Try to get as much information as you can. We are in the upside down right now, unfortunately. And right now, things that seem like it's normal could possibly not be normal, and vice versa. This presidency, I don't even want to say that we're only, oh God. It feels like it's been, it feels like it's been the full 4 years, but we just started. So, there's war, there's poverty going on, there's so much greed and corruption going on right now that as a people, just as human beings, we have to do better. We have to expect better, and we have to do better ourselves. Minorities, I know you feel like your votes don't matter, but in some way, shape, or form, you have to get out there and you got to vote. You have to vote, not just for the president. You got to vote for every single thing, because those little pieces can start the domino effect of other pieces starting to fall to affect you, down the line. And I think over time, Kamala losing probably lost a lot of people because they felt like we were making momentum, and then just to see it, collapse the way it did, whether it was fake or whether it really happened and he really won, we have to keep fighting, not just for a president. We got to fight for every office that is going to at least fight for us as best they can. Now, there are bad people on both sides, and you can't trust hardly any of them. But do the best you can to find somebody that you can lean into, and if they can give you 60% of what you want, then you go with that. And I think we just stay vigilant, keep our eyes, ears open, and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because if you feel doubt, ask the question. Find the answer that you need to make you feel good about what you saw and what you heard that day.
Right. Makes sense. Go ahead, EB.
The word research has 2 words in it. Research. What you think you know today can change. Search it again. I feel like I'm living in an OJ's and Marvin Gaye song again, right? I feel like the words of what's going on today is songs they would sing back in those days when they were singing money, 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 and and what's going on, right? It's the same thing over and over again. But I want to lean toward what Greg's point was. It's always been every week is we have to get back involved with community, which is another word I'm gonna play on. Commune and unity, right? We have to be able to get back together again and say, I know you don't like me for this, but if we don't stop this together, it'll never stop. And one thing I am glad about is Trump showing everybody that they're no different than us. Because there's some white people that's just as mad as we are. We really don't care about their anger because we've been doing this forever. But at least it's making us out now all say, maybe we don't have the answers, and let's get together. Hopefully, at the end of this administration, we can get together and have solutions to these problems.
Sound good. What you got, Bree?
Yeah, so I kind of want to piggyback off of what EB was saying, and just to add on to that we really need to be strategic, uh, and how we network and how we rally the, I guess rally the troops as far as getting to the voting polls and getting back to community. I don't know if you guys know this right now, but even in the Black community, there is what we would call a diaspora war, and that is also further dividing our community, in which some of those votes are that we need to go towards the midterms and that we need to go towards the next election are going to be further split off over into the Republican pool because of the diaspora war right now. And that is happening because of American black Americans and other black people of different ethnicities that are in the United States. And so instead of unifying together, we're dividing and we're getting further divided. So I think that's something that we also need to explore when it's coming down to how we're going to vote in the midterms, how we're going to vote in the future. Because I mean, right now in the present, right, we're dealing with all this nonsense. We know this stuff is nonsense. We know it's fake. We know it's a distraction. And we know that it's distracting us every single day, every single week. There's a new distraction. There's a new, there's just something new in the news that's causing us to have all these different conversations that are splitting us further apart. One thing I think I know that we're expecting a blue wave in the midterms, but we can expect it all we want. We have to make sure that we show up. And a part of that, again, I will actually go ahead and add on to what Lawrence was saying. A part of that is getting more of our people to the voting polls. And I'm not saying we got to tell people how to vote. I think that people can look at what's going on right now in the world or in our country and say, okay, it's probably best that we don't vote Republican because none of them have backbones right now and all of them are taking a knee or all of them are bending and kissing the ring. But there are also a lot of us black people that are saying my vote doesn't matter. I'm not going to vote anyway. What's the point? Then you have the other, like I said, the other part of us that are saying, I'm going to vote Republican because Republicans right now are looking out what's best for black people. They're looking out for what's best for black people. They're not coming after us. They're going after the people they want to deport. They're doing this. No, like I'm serious, y'all. This is actually happening. It's a group called FBAs. I don't know if y'all are familiar with FBAs. We can go down that rabbit hole another day. But I'm saying that we have to be in community with each other. We have to rally together and we have to get people to the voting polls. But it definitely starts with education, research, understanding what we're voting for, understanding our laws. The average black person, because I focus on black people, but the average American does not know who their state representatives are. They don't even know who their mayor is. So we really do need to focus on education, research, getting us to the polls, and understanding what we're voting on.
Totally
so that
agree.
we can avoid this from ever happening again.
Totally agree. I agree with all what you all said. I hope people focus on. I want people to focus on not whether the distractions are distractions, but I want people to focus on what's important in their lives in regards to the policies that are at stake, the policies that are being pushed out there. When you look at the SAVE Act, is that something that's to your best interest? When you look at what's going on with our healthcare system, what's for your best interest? When you look at the Voting Rights Act, what's for your best interest? Down to your civil rights, what is your best interest? If those 4 things aren't in the forefront of your thought process, when you look at voting or just your everyday living, you're missing out a big portion of what's going to make your life better. These things will just take that away from you. We don't know what's going to be the outcome of this Iran situation. We talked for 2 days on the assassination attempt. We're still in the middle of a halfway ceasefire. Are we going to have a ceasefire or are we not? You know, what's going to happen at the Middle East? This gas issue ain't going to stop no time soon. Even when they get everything back open and running again, it's going to take time for anything to get balanced out. You know, our food prices, you know, all these things, you know, during this administration over these 16 months, over 700,000 black people lost their jobs, you know, due to policy changes. You know, we know for a fact over 300,000 black women. The most educated Americans right now, the fastest growing educated demographic in our country is black women. 300,000 plus of those lost their jobs just within the federal government. That don't even count the ones outside of the federal government that lost their jobs. So when we look at what's important, sit back and look at these policies. And I'm not saying don't pay attention to the distraction. Don't let a distraction overwhelm you that you miss the important things that are going on within our government. And that's what I'm going to leave y'all with. I want to thank y'all for joining us today.
You gonna let Greg get it in, man? You gonna leave
Is Greg still? Is he still there? I think.
Yes, I'm still.
Oh,
here.
you still there? Go ahead, Greg. I didn't see you. on the call. Go ahead, Greg. Get your last word in.
That's all right.
I was looking on Zoom. I didn't see you there.
I'm on my device's Zoom.
Yeah.
First of all, I want you all to know that I have nothing but love and respect for you. And if you're watching this and listening to this, I have nothing but love and respect for you also. But I'm going to love you with the truth. And the truth is, the government will lie to its people. People that don't mean you no good are going to tell you a lie. People that want something from you, especially your money, is going to lie to you. But what we have to do is look out for the elders, protect our kids, and try to come together as a community, because they can't kill all of us. It just won't happen like that. We've got 8,000 years of history in our bloodstream that they don't know nothing about, they don't want us to know about, and we need to understand that together, if I take care of my neighborhood, that neighborhood's going to affect the whole city. And when you affect the city, you affect the county. And when you affect the county, you affect the state. And eventually in time, things are going to get better, but I don't have to see it, because obstacles are something that I need to make me learn what I can do. If everything was easy, everybody would do it. Mm-hmm. So research, think. My mom always said, if everybody else is going to jump in the lake, you going to go jump in the lake too? Make a decision of what you're going to do, but do it for a reason. Mm-hmm. And you can tell who was raised and who was bred. And I was raised. Raise your children. Love on them. Help them think and figure it out, because they're here for a mission. And that's my last word.
Appreciate you, Greg. You always bring that wisdom, man, that we really appreciate and we all need to hear. And until next time, we'll catch you on Good Grace and Progress. And with that, this crew is out.
Yo. GGP already? Welcome to the space where the truth gets spoken. Trap snares popping, hands up, energy open. Where the chains get broken.